nonetheless, he's confused on a lot of his theology. He says, well, that final relationship between the Israelites, him saying he's one of them, and the Gentiles will be kind of like the way the husband has authority over the wife. It'll be a kind of a gentle, compassionate ruling over. And that's not even really how I view complementarianism in the way he's describing it. I don't think that's a good, accurate complementarianism, but he said some stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Then on the other side, well, somewhere in the middle is they're going to serve us, but it's going to be a kind service where they're going to willingly do it. And we're not going to be harsh masters. We're going to be righteous. We're not going to be like it was done in the antebellum slavery to us, because we're going to be righteous. So it's not going to be a harsh thing. They're going to enjoy it because they're serving us. They're serving God by serving us. So there's sort of a middle way. On the far extreme, Mike, it's going to be brutal. And there's one guy named Tahar who says, I'm going to kick the Edomites. That's his term for white people. I'm going to kick the Edomites ASS every day except for the Sabbath. I'm going to take a break from kicking their A and then start kicking their A again on the next day after the Sabbath. And sometimes they do this video.
Shalom. I'm going to start by giving all the praises, glory, and honor to YAHAWAH, BaHa, YAHAWASHI, BaHa, QADASH. Double honor to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone who rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations unto the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And you hear Haman Malone. All right. You're hearing him pretty much explain to this guy, because he wants to understand one West eschatology, which, if you go into that word, it means study of the end times according to prophecy. And he's basically saying that, in a generalization of all the Hebrews, the different Israelite groups, you have on one spectrum, you got these watered down bootleg Israelites that are like more so, Christianness, all right, where, they teach that we're going to have friendly relations with the nations. They're going to serve up under us, but it's going to be like the relationship between a husband and a wife, which, whatever group that is, that's teaching that, they're on a very low level, and they're going to come into the kingdom as newborn babes. All right, because that's damn sure not what it's going to be. All right, these nations are not going to have any say so in anything. Basically, we're going to have power over them as the Lord promised. All right, the Lord had granted him dominion, and he had, pursuant to Psalms, the second chapter, he said, "Ask of me, and I shall give you, I shall give you the heathen for thine inheritance." And and vocab, what does that mean? Not only is he gonna give him the heathen to inherit, like basically that's my possession, but also you're gonna rule them with a rod of iron and break them to pieces like a like a potter's vessel. What does that mean? Does that mean that the Lord's gonna deal kindly with the heathen? But he act as if the scriptures doesn't talk about vengeance. It doesn't talk about reciprocation. Scriptures like Jeremiah 30:16, all they that devoured thee shall be devoured. Every one of them shall go into captivity. What does that mean? When you go into the law, where it talks about we shall not rule over one another with rigor, what people was that referring to? What people are we permitted to rule, all right, with rigor? And what people are we not permitted to rule over with rigor? Let's go to the law real quick. And we know that the law is what we're going to be keeping in the kingdom, because according to the new covenant, the law is going to be actually written into us. Let's go to Leviticus 25, and we're going to start around verse 39. It also tells you in Isaiah the 2nd chapter that the law is going to go forth out of Zion, and that's when we're going to be in the kingdom of heaven. So these laws are going to be kept. Is what's going to govern the whole world. Is going to govern the kingdom of heaven, right? So this is Leviticus 25 and 39. This is dealing with servants, all right, slaves, all right. Is verse 39 says, and if thy brother that dwelleth by thee be waxen poor, and be sold unto thee, thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bondservant, but as an hired servant. So we're only supposed to hire fellow Israelites. You pay them for their work, and as a sojourner, so he comes and he may come and live on your land, on your property, come live with you, to work for you, right? And he shall be with thee and shall serve thee unto the year of Jubilee. And then shall he depart from thee, both he and his children with him, and shall return unto his own family, and unto the possession of his fathers shall he return. And that may be because of, maybe debt that he entered into, but he's to be forgiven after a certain period of time, right? And then he can return back to his family. It says, for they are my servants which I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. They shall not be sold as bondmen, all right, slave men. Thou shalt not rule over him with rigor, but shall fear thy power. So we're not to rule like that over each other, all right? Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, your slave men and slave women, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. So if we're going to have slaves, they have to be from the heathen. Pick a nation. Moabites. You got Ammonites. If you want some Edomite slaves. If you want some Hamite slaves, some Cushite slaves. If you want some Elamite slaves. This is according to the law. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. Moreover, of the children of strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall you buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begat in your land, and they shall be your possession. And you shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you. Right? So even in the kingdom, our children that's going to be born, they're going to have, nannies. Are you going to have, butlers? We listen. You nations, y'all going to be nonstop serving us, because Israelites, we nonstop serve you. All right, tired as hell, man. Everywhere you look is Jake instilling their labor into this society, man, on all levels. So, when we're finally given that rest and we get to, kick back, you're going to be serving us and working for us. All right. And when our children are born, you're going to serve them too. It tells you that in Isaiah, I believe the 42nd or 43rd chapter, or it might be the 49th chapter, where it talks about how the queen shall be your nursing mothers. All right, and the kings. I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna find it, but pretty much the top hierarchy of this world, which are the Edomites, the Edomite ruling class families, they're gonna actually switch roles. They're gonna trade places, all right, where they're gonna be brought down to the form of basically a slave. Won't have anything. You won't be from running the world, controlling the world, to basically nothing. You're just gonna be in pits. All right. You're not going to have any net worth. Right now, you can look them up and, search, what these banking families are worth. They're worth trillions. When you got control over the world economy, you're a trillionaire for sure. But they're gonna go from that to nothing. All right. It says they shall be your bondmen forever. Right? They shall be your bondmen forever, but over your brethren, the children of Israel, you shall not rule one over another with rigor. Now the Lord was promised that he's going to be able to rule over the nations with a rod of iron. That sounds like with force. This doesn't sound too kind. All right, Psalms 2 and verse 9, it says, verse 8, it says, ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, and thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. All right, so they're going to be getting broken up. All right, and especially Edomites, because everything that they've done against us, all right, they're going to have to suffer retribution for it. But remember, let's get real quick. Get Ezekiel 12. No, actually not 12. Ezekiel 25 and 12. And it says, thus saith the Lord power, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. And he's been taking vengeance against us ever since the revolt from the throne of David. All right. After David left, and after the kingdom split after Solomon's death, Edom been on a tangent ever since. And even when they sprung up and became dominions, whether it was the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, all they did was spend that time taking vengeance against us. And then when they fell, all right, for a period of time, but then they resurfaced, came back into power and waged war against us again. And here we are today. So remember, all right, and this is in eschatology, this is prophecy. All right, it says, therefore, thus saith the Lord power, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. So what do you think that means? This man spent all of his existence trying to shed blood, or should I say shedding blood. The blood of his own brother, Jacob. So internalizing the scripture, what does this mean? What is vengeance? And they act like these scriptures are not in the book, but it's because they really don't like to deal with prophecy. They'd rather deal with the gospel, where they like to water down the message and think that the Lord is taking a soft approach when it comes to the nations. Everything concerning the gospel, which deals with his death and resurrection, which he was able to he shed, he pretty much obliterated the sins of Israel. All right, he remitted our sins. All right, and it granted us grace through his mercy, and now we can receive salvation. But that's for the nation of Israel. And he also made a new covenant with us. He didn't make a new covenant with everybody else. So all the good in the Gospels in the New Testament is all concerning the nation of Israel. It has nothing to do with you other nations. You still are being preserved right now, getting ready for the Lord to judge you. All right. That's why y'all don't like to go into the law and the prophets. It says, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury. This is why the apostle said that he gonna be kicking their ass every day except the Sabbath. All right. You this, we go into the history of this nation and what they've been guilty of, man. Like, imagine if the Lord was to open up our spirit to go back in the time and to just view everything this devil has done against us. Man, Jake would get sick. It would be all out, just blood everywhere. But right now, Jake is in a slave mentality, and they're docile. They poised under that plantation Christianity. But the Lord didn't forget anything. It says, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord power. So you're gonna know it's all coming from the Lord, man. When you touched us, you touched the apple of the Lord's eye. All right. So what is that going into? So let's go from there, because we was dealing with, servitude, slavery, and this is another prophecy that Christians get wrong when it comes to the eschatology. They think that this was already fulfilled in the ancient Babylonian, the Neo-Babylonian Empire, but this didn't happen under the Babylonian Empire. All right. When the Babylonians got took down, we came up under the Medo-Persian Empire, and they dealt the least harsh with us out of all the other kingdoms, because they allowed us to, rebuild the temple. But guess who under their kingdom? Guess what nation was trying to get us wiped out? Yeah, you guessed it, Amalek. So this is Isaiah 14:1. It says, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And a stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. All right. These nations are going to work. They're going to work. It tells you in Ezekiel, the 39th chapter, that he's going to seek for them continual employment. Because the kingdom is have to be built up. The ruins are going to have to be built. You read Isaiah the 60th chapter. The sons of strangers shall build thy walls. You're going to be tilling. You're going to be planting. You're going to be building the walls up. Like David and Solomon, when they were in power, you had the heathen that was building everything up. You put them in slavery. They was under tribute, and he set garrisons in their lands, because we're going to possess their lands too. It says, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. But they want to act like this is not a big deal. Like he wants to, get rid of the idea of there being oppressors and those who are oppressed. No, there's no oppressor. We're all one. We're all, there's no Jew. There's no difference between Jew nor Greek. There's neither bond nor free. They want to go to that route. Stop it, man. That's dealing with those who come into the body of our Lord, and only those that's going to come into the body are Israelites. All those epistles were written to the saints, which were Israelites. It has nothing to do with you. You have to wait for the impending judgment that you got coming for you. All right, like it says in this very same chapter. When you jump down to verse 21, it says to prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, your ancestors, which you still benefit from to this very day. All right, to this very day. Imagine if your ancestors didn't enslave the so-called Negroes and bring them over here, or the northern tribes that were already over here. But like it says in Jeremiah 50 and 33, we were both Judah and Israel were oppressed together here in Babylon. We were dealt harshly with. We were brutalized. We were oppressed. We were exploited, and were used to build your kingdom up. And you made a killing. So this is what the prophecies say. This is the eschatology. All right. Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. And ultimately, when America gets destroyed, you know, all the Edomites here, they're gonna be cut off, and America will never be rebuilt. It's gonna be like Sodom and Gomorrah. All right. Let's go to Psalms 149, one of my favorite psalms. Because this is what we're gonna be doing. Psalms 149, I'll start at the top. It says, "Praise ye the Lord Yahawah, sing unto the Lord a new song." And this is, you know, part of that new song that not everybody's gonna vibe with, especially the devil. All right, because yes, we're gonna put you in servitude. All right, and you got a lot to reckon for. All right, and I'm sure it's not a joyous thing to hear, but hey, it is what it is. And I'm reading the scriptures. This is what the scriptures say. It says, "In his praise in the congregation of saints, let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king." Right? Let them praise his name in the dance. Let them sing praises unto him with the timbrel and harp. All right, we're going to be partying in the kingdom for sure. For the Lord taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand. To do what exactly? To execute vengeance upon the heathen, and punishments upon the people. To bind their kings with chains, and their nobles with fetters of iron. Why? Because your higher ups are going to go right into captivity. All right. They were the oppressors. All right. And now they're getting ready to become captives. All right. The sower is getting ready to overtake the reaper. And that's when the Lord translates the kingdom. It's going to be translated from one people to another because of your unjust dealings, your injuries, and riches got by deceit, your traffic, your sorceries, the bloodshed, the rape, robbery, and murder of the saints. All right. To execute upon them the judgment written, this honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord. And it is going to be an honor. That, hey, this is our faith and patience. That we're going to wait for our Lord to you know, when he returns, that's when these things are going to, you know, come into play. Because YAHAWASHI is going to ultimately come and take the kingdom. This is his dominion. He's just so happened he's going to share it with the children of Israel, starting with his elect. Because, you know, the elect are joint heirs with them. And he even told one of the churches that if you continue and you keep the things that I said, basically, to you will I give power over the nation. So he's going to share that dominion. All right, Revelation 2:25, with that which you have already hold fast till I come. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a powder, they shall be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. So he's going to grant them, all right, that same privilege that was given to him by the Father. But that's if you continue to the end, and that's the elect. They're going to be given crowns upon their heads, so they're going to have authority. YAHWASHI is going to crown his men with that authority, so they're going to be governors, rulers up under him. So the nation is going to be up under YAHWASHI and his men, which are all Israelites. There ain't going to be no Edomites and Moabites among that. Are you crazy? When it says in Isaiah the 2nd chapter that the law shall go forth out of Zion, you think some Edomites are going to be enforcing the law? They prove time in and time out that they can't get right. It says, unto the wicked, what hast thou to do? Declare my statutes, that thou shalt take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction and casteth it behind thee. The Lord gave this devil dominion. He gave him he gave this world into his hand, and look what he's done to it. Look at the state of the earth, look at the state of the people. But they claim, but they perpetrated themselves all this time to be the Lord's chosen people. The world would not be like this under the true Israelites. So, yeah, we're gonna patiently wait for this, man. All right, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. This honor do I have all the saints. So it's gonna be an honor to do these things, man. All right. So, I mean, you could try to make it appear like it's just something, you know, unbearable and because he got to put extras on it to vilify Israel, and that's what that's what Haman did. But the truth is the truth. So anyway, I'm gonna close out with that. Hey, that's eschatology for you. So just just prepare yourself. That's all. Live out the last few seconds of your kingdom, and we'll see later. All right. So anyway, with that, I'm gonna give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shalom.